Good evening. On the world news tonight, first the headlines. We are committed to yearnings of Nigerians, Speaker Abbas. Opens up on receiving foreign funding for 2023 election. Kwara government approves 10,000 naira monthly palliative for workers. 30,000 naira minimum wage is criminal. I pay my cleaner 60,000 naira, Oshomole. Hashtag Endsars, nobody taken from toll gate, says Lagos government. On sport, Oshola or Numunu must step up their games against Australia. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. The news shortly. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, has emphasized the 10th House of Representatives' commitment to the critical needs of Nigerians by paying priority attention to the participatory budgeting process and delivery, law reform, electoral reform, women's participation and inclusion in governance. The Speaker also promised that the 10th House is committed to improve socio-economic conditions, entrepreneurship, employment, health and education, infrastructure, citizens-focused diplomacy, institutional capacity and citizens' engagement, constitutional amendment and restructuring, among others. Abbas made the commitment at the stakeholders meeting on the 10th House of Representative Legislative agenda held in Abuja. According to him, there is no better way to show that the 10th House of Representatives is ready to respond and urgently to the yearnings of those who vote for them, to the people's business. He said that the event is meant to keep the 10th House resolved as representative of the people to regularly consult citizens in the discharge of their mandate given to them. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Mahmood Yakubu, has denied receiving any direct funding or cash support from international development partners for the 2023 general election. Information report that Mr. Yakubu made a clarification at a meeting with civil society organizations, CSOs, in Abuja on Monday as part of the Commission's post-election review. He said the Commission's policy is not to receive direct funding or cash transfers from sources other than the federal government. On the contrary, and for the avoidance of doubt, the Commission did not receive any direct funding. Indeed, it has been a long-standing policy of the present Commission not to receive direct funding and cash transfers from sources other than the federal government of Nigeria. However, Mr. Yakubu said the Commission did receive support from international partners in the form of technical advice, civic and voter education, organization of meetings and capacity building workshops, as well as the publication of documents. He said that this support was totally indirect and came through civil society organizations and implementing partners working on elections. Mr. Yakubu also said the Commission received 538 requests for accreditation as observers in the build-up to the 2023 elections. Of these, 228 groups were accredited, but only 67 have submitted their report to the Commission. Mr. Yakubu urged the remaining accredited observer groups to submit their report as soon as possible. Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak has approved 10,000 naira monthly palliative for workers. The 10,000 naira monthly palliative is to help workers cope with the recent fuel subsidy removal and its attendant economic impact. The government's decision was announced at a press conference addressed by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Rafiu Ajakai, at the Government House in Ilorin on Monday. Ajakai said on top of the palliative is a cash support 10,000 naira for every public sector worker in the state, which will begin this month, July, and last until a new minimum wage is introduced to enable workers to cope with economic shocks created by the removal of subsidy. In deference to the new advisory of the National Economic Council for states to design their own independent responses to the development, the governor has directed the leadership of the civil service to continue to staggered work schedule not exceeding 3 days a week to reduce transportation expenses for workers, he said. Kwara had earlier introduced a 3-day work schedule for its civil servants, but suspended it in deference to an earlier advisory of the NEC for states to await a more holistic response to the development. The staggered work plan would not cover essential workers, the governor's spokesperson said. Not from Edo State, Edo North Senator Adams Oshiomhole has condemned the 30,000 naira minimum wage. Oshiomhole described the current minimum wage as criminal wage, stressing that he pays his cleaner 60,000 naira monthly. Featuring on Channels Television Sunday Politics, Oshiomhole said the current minimum wage was not enough for workers. According to Oshiomhole, what we call minimum wage is a criminal wage. I can tell you what I have decided to pay my cleaner. My cleaner is just a primary school older. I'm not sure she even has a school living certificate, but she's knowledgeable enough to clean the house. I found myself unable to pay her less than 60,000 naira. In fact, 60,000 naira, it's about my conscience. I'm trying to imagine what she has to pay for a house. She told me she has 4 children. I'm trying to imagine how she has to look after those children, and I cannot question why she should have 4 children. To Lagos State. The Lagos State government has debunked report of a planned mass burial for casualties of the 2020 #Endsars protests. A statement by the Permanent Secretary Ministry of Health, Dr. Olusegun Oboye, described the report as deliberately misinterpreting and sensationalizing a letter from a public procurement agency. Oboye maintained that the 103 bodies were picked up after the violence #Endsars protests and other clashes at Fagba, K2, Ikorodu, Orile, Ajegule, Abuleba, Ikeja, Ojota, Ekoro, Ogba, Isolo and Aja areas of Lagos State, as well as hijack and jailbreak at Ikoyi prison. There was a letter from the Lagos State government's public procurement agency, letter of no objection, mass burial for the 103, the year 2020 Endsars victims, permitting the burial of the victims. But the boy accused mischief makers of misinterpreting the letter to misinform the public, stir public sentiment, and cause public disaffection against the Lagos State government. The statement reads, it is public knowledge that the year 2020 #Endsars crisis that snowballed into violence in many parts of Lagos recorded casualties in different areas of the state and not from the Lekki toll gate, has been inferred in the mischievous publications. Civil society groups under the aegis of the Edo civil society organizations have taken to the streets of Benin City, the capital city, in protest against the recent hike in fuel price. They walked through some major streets and condemned the increase and the high cost of governance in Nigeria. The protesters claim the cost of governance is high in Nigeria. The protesters are piqued by what they describe as an increment in the price of petrol amidst penury. According to them, the new National Assembly members are made to share huge sums running into billions of naira to improve their working conditions, while the downtrodden groan under the new fuel subsidy regime. Carrying placards with several inscriptions, the Edo State civil society groups also rejected the proposed 8,000 naira palliative by the federal government following the removal of the petrol subsidy. One of the protesters, Olu Martins, insisted that the federal government should have put the necessary palliatives in place before going ahead with the new policies, which according to him are taking their toll on Nigerians. Aliyu Tashes, the chairman of the Total Local Council in Nasarawa, has ordered immediately suspending all forest activities within the local government area. This is contained in a statement by Yaya Toto, Senior Special Assistant SSA to the Toto LGA chairman on media and communications in Toto on Sunday. Some criminals have turned the forest into their hideout, where they waylay, ambush, and kidnap farmers, timber operators, and other innocent citizens, he said. He added forests within the council have also become places where kidnappers held their victims to and continue to demand money and in several cases killed their victims, revealing that 2 persons have been killed in one of the forests. The chairman said he was making security arrangements to flush out the bandits and kidnappers. He urged the local council residents to be vigilant to avoid falling victim. Those with genuine businesses in the forest should suspend their activities because the government will not sit by and allow miscreants to threaten the peace of the progressive people of the Toto local government area, he said. A popular native doctor has been reportedly abducted by gunmen in Oba, Idemili, North local government area of Anambra State. Akwa Okuko Tiwaraki was said to have been kidnapped Sunday night from his hotel room while 2 of his personal aides were shot dead. The information came that the man, said to be among the strongest as well as the richest witch doctor in the state, was abducted effortlessly by the gunmen. A source close to the family said Akko Alba has been kidnapped last night in his Triple P hotel. 2 of the security men were shot dead. Where is Unwaucha and Odeshi? This is someone people flock his Oba mansion for anti-bullet charms and other money rituals. Police spokesperson Tochukwu Ikenga confirmed the incident, saying Commissioner of Police Aderemi Adeoye has launched manhunt for his abductors. The incident happened around 11:30 p.m. last night. CP Aderemi has ordered that operatives go after his abductors and ensure his release, he said. To the next story from foreign. A suicide bomber in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, killed at least 13 people and soldiers and wounded at least 20 more inside a military academy on Monday in an attack claimed by the Al-Shabaab militant group. A military campaign launched by government forces and allied militant militias men in 2022 has forced the Al-Qaeda-linked group from large swaths of territory in southern Somalia, but the militants have continued to stage deadly raids. In recent weeks, with a military campaign against them stalled as the army prepared a second phase of the offensive, Al-Shabaab fighters had stepped up their attacks. In late May, they killed at least 54 Ugandan peacekeepers at a base south of Mogadishu. For nearly 2 weeks, they laid siege to Baidoa, of one of the country's largest cities, and they have staged a series of raids in Mogadishu this month. The bombing on Monday targeted the Jail Siad Military Academy. A soldier at Mogadishu's military hospital, who gave his name only as Ahmed, said he had the bodies of 13 soldiers who were killed and 20 more that were wounded in the blast. The victims hailed from the lower Shebele region and had some come to the capital for training, said Captain Ali Farah, who knew some of them. He said he was aware of 10 deaths so far. Lastly, on sport news. Former Super Eagles goalkeeper Dosu Joseph has urged Super Falcons duo of Asisa Tushola and Ifeoma Numunu to step up their games against Australia in the ongoing 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. Recall that Oshola and Onumunu had minimal impact in the team's 0-0 draw against Canada in their opening game fixture. However, in the chart, the Atlanta Olympic gold medalist stated that both players have the potential to cause havoc to any defense at the team and tournament. He urged Oshola and Onumunu to rediscover their form against Australia on Thursday. The duo of Oshola and Onumunu are 2 very dangerous players, but I really don't know what happened to them that they couldn't find their form against Canada. We all know how impressive Oshola was for Barcelona last season, and many of us expected her to bank in goals for the Super Falcons. Notwithstanding, I want to believe that both players will step up their game against Australia on Thursday in order to help the team secure victory. That ends the world news this hour from VGI TV Currents. Before we go, some headlines. Subsidy, we are committed to yearnings of Nigeria, Speaker Abbas. INEC opens up on receiving foreign fundings for 2023 general elections. Kwara government approves 10,000 naira monthly palliative for workers. 30,000 naira minimum wage is criminal, Oshomole. On sports, Oshola or Numanu must step up their games against Australia. For more updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is BGI TV Current. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Bagide Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. Please subscribe for you to enjoy more of our broadcasts. I am Morire Revila Lawal.